Happy Friday, Pre-K. Today is Friday, December 4th, 2020. This week we have been talking about different buildings, how they're different shapes. We've been talking about habitats where animals live. And we've been talking specifically where we live. Okay, so today we're going to kind of continue with our habitats, but we're also going to talk about how sometimes animals may not be able to create their home by using their resources. They might have to use something a little different. Maybe a bird may not use a nest. Maybe they'll find something else. Maybe a bear may not go into its den. Maybe it'll find something else. So today we're going to continue that by reading the Mitten. And we see a bunch of animals. And what do we see on the floor there? Snow. So now that we're in the month of December, winter's going to be coming up. It's going to be a new season. Hopefully we'll be seeing some snow ourselves. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. There's Nicky. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens. And finally, Baba made them. So she's right. If she makes white mittens and he drops it in the snow, how will he find it? After she finished, she said, when you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound. But then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens. So off Nicky went. And it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. You see where his mitten is? In the snow? Uh-oh. A mole. You know what a mole is? It'll go into it. A mole tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size. So he decided to stay. I don't know if you can see it. It's really tiny, but that's the mole. It has a kind of like little pointy nose. It's cute. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by, and he stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. So first it was the mole, now it's the rabbit. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. So now there's 3 animals in there. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, those are his nails right there, those sharp nails, they quickly let him in. How is this mitten fitting all of them? Up through the snow appeared, this is what you call a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left. But when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. So now he got to crawl into the thumb of the mitten. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. That means tired. The fox poked his muzzle, his nose, and when the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave Fox lots of room. Oh my goodness, look at how big this mitten is getting. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be, but what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged, too many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Is it going to fit the bear? What? Oh my goodness. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wiggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. There she is. So they're all in this mitten. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Ah, ah, choo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all different directions. Uh-oh. There they go. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. There you go. There's the mitten. Nicky found it. He's running. As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens. And there's Baba in the window. And he's got his mittens, so Grandma's gonna be happy. But now, look at the mitten. She's holding one mitten, and then look at this mitten. Why is the mitten so stretched out? Why is this mitten bigger? Can you tell me why? Yes, because all those animals were inside of it, so it got all stretched out. So that was the story of the mitten. So as you can see, there was a bunch of different animals, and normally they live in burrows and dens. But instead, they found this cozy mitten and they decided to go and sleep in there. But it didn't work out because there were too many of them, and that's why the mouse came, went onto the bear's nose, and all of them just flew out of the mitten. But that comes to show you that sometimes animals, if they can't find a place that they normally like to live in, they use their resources around them and they make that their home. That's why sometimes we might say that a bird normally has a nest in a tree, but by my house, the birds always like to put their nest under my air conditioner. Don't know why, but that's where they like to put it. So sometimes you might not find their homes in the places that you expect it to be. So for your challenge today, for your assignment, you have to, I hope you paid close attention to the order that the animals went into the mitten, because I'm sending you a sequence. So sequence is order, the order that the animals went in. So you can go back, you can listen to the story again. You're gonna cut out the pictures and you're gonna put it in the right order. What animal was the first, the second, the third, the fourth. Then After you're done, I want you to decorate your own mitten right here, okay? And underneath it reads, my mitten is so big, and then you try to write what animal would fit into your mitten. How big is your mitten? Okay, I want you to be creative. Think of anything. What would fit into your mitten? We just read a story about all these different animals that fit into a mitten. Now I want to know what animal would fit into your mitten, okay? So remember, you're gonna do this and you have a sequence sheet of all the animals that went into the mitten, and then we have mommy and daddy take a picture of it and we send it to your teacher, okay? Thank you for joining me today. I hope everybody has a wonderful, safe weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.